So again, I am really, really honored that we have our special guest with us this morning. And if you were here last night, I promised that I would tell you a story. So here it goes. I'm actually going to tell you two really quick stories. When I first moved here about 5 years ago, Ray was the first person that I got to book for a special concert for our anniversary celebration that weekend. And it was so funny because you never know who's going to walk into this church. And maybe they're not in the right place. Or they don't know who we are. So the marquee out front said that Ray Boltz was going to be in concert. And at one point before the concert started, in walked this nice little family. Mom and Dad, their 2 kids, Grandma and Grandpa. They sat probably about the 4th row from the back. And probably about 4 or 5 songs in, Mom gets out of the pew and starts to head towards the end of the row. And then out walked Dad, and out walked the kids, and out walked the grandparents. They apparently hadn't heard the full truth about Ray by that point. And but it just goes to show you that the name Ray Boltz actually holds very true because of the ministry that he has done for many years and for his name. A few years ago after that, Sean Thomas had helped to coordinate a Crossroads concert with many different artists. And Ray was actually in the audience that night. And it was such an honor because afterwards, I was part of that concert, and Ray came to my little table with my little CD that had 1 song on it, and he actually bought my CD. After so many years of buying all of his CDs, and I called my sister that night after the concert was over and I said, guess what just happened? Ray Boltz bought my CD. Ray, I want to thank you for being with us this weekend, and I want to thank you so much for the ministry that you have given for so many years now, and I'm so glad that you are continuing to share the light of God in everything that you're doing, and I'm so glad that you're with us, especially on this day that we get to talk about what fundamentalism is and is not. And so once again, will you please help us welcome Ray Boltz and worship?
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. It's been an honor to be here. But how do you know those people didn't leave because they realized this was the happy, clappy church? No, it took 5 songs for them to figure out I'm gay, all right? And that's okay. The MCC church means a lot to me, this church in particular, with the whole group. And the song I'm going to sing right now, I was in Indianapolis. Make a long story very, very short. I gave my Christmas CD that I recorded because I heard Pastor Jeff Miner preach this beautiful sermon on Christmas. And he sent me an email later. I'd never really met him. My family's sitting there. I was out to my family, but nobody else. And I didn't talk to anybody in the industry or anything like that. And Jeff sent me an email message and he said, have you ever thought about going professional? And then he told his worship leader that I'd been in his church, and they passed out because they were excited. Because it just Indianapolis is where it all started for me, and it just worked out that Jeff invited me to come back to the church and sing a song. And I wrote this song right before I went, and it was the first place I ever really stepped out in faith and began to share what I consider an authentic life in music and ministry. It's a song called God Knows I Tried. When they said I was a sinner, I was struggling with my youth, and with the hope that God would change me, I believed it was the truth. So I spent my whole life trying to be what they said that I should. But on the inside I was dying, 'cause I never really inside. He's seen every tear I ever cried. But God knows I tried. And I was so good at pretending, just like an actor on the stage. But in the end, nobody knew me, only the roles that I portrayed. And I would rather have you hate me, knowing who I really am, than to try and make you love me by being something that I can't. But God knows that I tried. And God knows all the pain I kept inside. Seeing every tear I ever cried. God knows that I tried. And after all these years of living, I've begun to understand that I can try to be like someone else, but it won't change. No, it won't change. No, it won't change who I am. God knows I tried. God knows all the pain I kept inside. Seeing every tear that I ever cried. God knows that I tried.